Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is you're watching this. Welcome. Yes, I took Sean's Star Wars Yoda stocking hat. I think that's the only one we have with us. I have a couple other Disney ones, but I think they're still at my parents'. And just that so you can see Bentley a little bit better. Here we go. Yeah, sorry about that last week. I didn't notice the camera had de-angled and you couldn't see him. But you see his little Christmas tree there. I just got to add a battery in it to lighten it up. And then, of course, we have a Charlie Brown Christmas tree back there. And then Disney. Yes, so, of course, I'm a Disney person. So, yes, I worked for the mouse for many years. So, I still support him. Anyways, yes. So, what are you drinking this morning, today, whatever time it is there? And I have my Christmas Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. The only thing is I haven't done my nails yet, but I have that next week. But yes, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with Rudolph and Clarice. Interesting enough, my aunt on my dad's side of the family that I was really close to, Clarice. Her name was Clarice, and my Aunt Clarice. So yes, this always, ever since I was little, would always remind me of her. Because it's not really a common name, or at least I don't think it is. But anyways, so yes. And then, so that, I love the old Christmas classics, but yes. Anyways, I'm drinking peppermint tea with Stephen Smith's peppermint leaves, and then added some organic honey with organic stevia. So that's what we're drinking this morning. Of course, Bentley has this little cup of water over there. And so, yes. Oh, and interesting story about these mugs is I actually got the mugs really inexpensive because I was going to put them into the spa for Christmas time. So to have for Christmas time, because it definitely. So, yes. Anyway, so now I'm using them. All right. So today we're going to talk about other paths that you can take. Last week we talked about the sacred science. By the way, there are also other videos on their website other than the documentary. If it is something that interests you, definitely check those out. It's also where I learned about the herbalist that I had mentioned in the herbs and spices video. So definitely go check that one out if you haven't already. So yes. And then there are also other paths that are kind of, I say they're similar to the sacred science in a sense that sometimes they focus on some of the same things, but also with different teachers or different people to walk through that with you or go through that with you or help you with that. But you can also look into those if it's something you're drawn to. There is one, it's called The Shift Network, which it is very new age in there. But it also has info for like breath work, plant medicine, same thing as herbology, plant medicine, Qigong, which is similar to Tai Chi, shamanism, sound healing, and yoga. So it does have some things like that in there. So don't be turned off when you first, like if you go to the website, like look around, dig around for some things, okay? Because there are things in there that might not feel quite as out there for you, if that makes sense. So you may find a part of it like speaking to you, or it helps you in some way. So even, there may be one thing on there particular you're drawn to, or be like, hey, this something's telling me to do this. Do it. Look into it. What do you got to lose at this point, right? And plus, I always say follow your gut instinct. Or, it may not help you at all. If it doesn't speak to you, I mean, you can go through, look at it, just see what it is. If nothing speaks to you, it doesn't. Like, nothing interests you, that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with that, and it doesn't mean anything wrong with you. It just means it's not the path for you. Or at least not with them. Okay? If the shamanism aspect of it intrigues you, or speaks to you, you can also look into the four winds, or the three that were mentioned in the sacred science. So again, most importantly, follow your gut instinct. So whatever you're drawn to, go that path. There's nothing wrong with it. If you're not drawn to it, then there's nothing wrong with you either. It just means it's not the path for you, and that's okay. So there's no right or wrong. So with that said, let's talk about Ayurveda. Ayurveda is a branch of Vedic science. Literally means the science of life. And it originated in India as the traditional healing system over 5,000 years ago. It's considered one of the oldest forms of medicine that works both as preventatives and curative medicine. It combines daily self-care, healthy diet, yoga, and a natural lifestyles as a means to acquire optional health. It is the fundamental root of traditional Chinese medicine. And even Buddha himself utilized Ayurveda remedies. So in India today, there are Ayurvedic medical schools training physicians in internal medicine, surgery, gynecology, pediatrics, toxicology, and gerontology. Senior care, like when seniors get older, you go to doctors for more visits. So that's what gerontology is. But what makes Ayurveda practical is that you don't have to attend Ayurvedic medical school in order to understand or implement it. It's knowledge into your daily life. We create our state of health based on how we interact with our environment. So by making choices that support our inner nature, we can live harmoniously and in balance. So kind of basically everything we've been talking about. I know a lot of this may sound a little too new agey for you, but when you look and dig past that aspect of it, there are things here that you come across at some point in your life in some form. All right. So in other words, a lot of this, you're probably already doing it and don't even realize that it's been placed in this specific category. What do I mean by that? Like breath work, breathing. Us, like women, what do they do when you're pregnant? What do they teach you? Breathing. You breathe. How to breathe. When you're in labor, how to breathe. That's breath work. When you meditate, that's also breath work. When you do yoga, you're also meditating, but you're also doing breath work as well. See what I'm saying? And yoga is also a form of exercise, and even Pilates. Pilates helps tone you. Yoga helps you with flexibility. So a lot of this you're probably doing. And also when you're anxious, what do? You breathe. You breathe in, you breathe out, right? You take deep breaths. If something is hurting you, You breathe in and you breathe out, right? Something happens. This to calm you down and to keep you calm, right? So you enter, it helps to relax you. It helps you rest, and some of these things help you to de-stress as well. So you're also doing these things too when a lot of these things you're also doing when you're doing something you enjoy, like you go hiking, you're also forest bathing when you're hiking, you're spending time with yourself, you're disconnecting from your phone, your life at that moment, like you're spending time for just you. You're balancing with, or you're spending time with nature, you're harmonizing with nature. So you're still balancing yourself there. So a lot of these things, when you take time out and do something for yourself, a lot of these things you're already doing. This, we're just putting it in a, breaking it down into a different category form, or name, giving it a different name than what you know it as. Or calling it, or you can also say calling it what it truly is. It really is. So yes, just giving it a name. All right. Or even like the herbs and spices. A lot of that, like you're doing that like when you cook, especially if you season your food, you're doing that when you cook, right? So you're getting, you're still doing that. But you would never sit there and bring it like, oh yeah, I do herbology, or I do take plant medicine or anything like that. Like you don't, right? And so even though you really are, especially if you use some of those herbs and spices in your meals. And another interesting thing that I didn't mention last week and forgot to mention is, so interesting enough, in the Amazon rainforest, or in the Amazon, there's a plant called Kraka. I think that's how you pronounce it. Or coca. I think it's coca. I think is how you pronounce it. It's the derivative of cocaine, right? That drug that you shouldn't take. But the plant that it comes from, they chew on the leaves of that plant to help them with altitude sickness. Interesting, right? So yes, that's what I say. It's, no, it doesn't get you, high or anything like the actual drug does. The plant doesn't, but that's what they do. I mean, Coca-Cola used to use it as an, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Coca-Cola used to use it as an ingredient a long time ago. But I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. Coca-Cola, don't sue me. I'm just saying that's, allegedly. There we go, allegedly. Anyways, not that Coca-Cola is watching this, but anyways, but also too, when you drink tea, depending on the type of tea that you drink, you have like there's different herbs put in it. Especially this one tea that I'm gonna get eventually. It has like ashwagandha in it. So ashwagandha is actually known as what they call a super herb, because it's good for so many different things. And so, yes, anyways, but my point being, a lot of these things you're doing in your daily life already, but it's just if you just dig a little and look past the whole new age aspect of it, like you do a lot of it you do already. So yes, we're just putting a name to it and calling it something different than what you're used to. But anyways, so I have added websites in the link, or links to the website in the description. Please know some of them, like the courses and stuff, I mean, they do advertise for you to purchase. I'm not trying to sell you on these things by no means. I'm just trying to provide you the information for you to look at things. I'm, even with the website with the Ayurveda. It does, excuse me, it has a lot of really good information about it in there. But also they do sell products. I'm not trying to sell you these products by no means. If you want to buy them, that's on you, but I'm not telling you to. I'm just providing you the website for the information there because it is some good information in there. But I will say one fascinating thing I did see with that is they do a recycling program where when you're finished, if you wash it out, if you send 5 containers or more, they send you like a $15 off code. So I thought that was kind of really cool on the recycling aspect of it. So, but please do your research on the product and everything first. Like I said, I'm not trying to promote the product. I just promote the information on the website is really good. So that's why it's on there. So yes. And same thing with the other two, is remember that, if you want to do the classes and pay for them, that's fine. That's on you. I'm not encouraging that. I'm just providing the information. And there are some things that you are able to do for free, even though they try to encourage you to spend more money. You are able to do a lot of these things for free or watch some of the things for free. So yes, there are those options on there as well. So yes, just please. So yes, and that's it for the day. If you have anything you want to share about any of what we said, just put it in the comments. Anything that's anything that you found interesting. If there's something that you do that's kind of similar to this, or a source that you use that you really like, definitely throw it in the comments. If you watch this and then you find another source that's not mentioned in here and you really like it, please come back and put it in the comments. Share. This is what it's all about, is sharing information where you and other people can find what works for them and what's best for them, because that's what's most important. All right, because different things for different people. I will say one thing that you can get out of the sacred science, most importantly, is that not everything works for the people. Not everything works for everybody. Meaning that one of the shamans had Crohn's disease, and that's how he healed his Crohn's disease. And one of the 8 people, she had Crohn's disease, and it didn't do for her what it did for him. So as I said, different, just because it works for someone else and they have the same type of cancer as you doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Okay? Vice versa. So you got to find what works for you. And that's what we're here for. Support. To find what works for you and give you many of options of things to try. And figure out what pulls you in that direction. And with that being said, have a wonderful week. Thank you for watching. And we will see you next week under the willow tree.